Glitz, glamour, and high-octane fashion shows. The fashion industry was valued at $1.78 trillion in 2019. A jump of 14% compared to 2018. But not anymore. Fashion hubs became the epicenters of the coronavirus pandemic. From high-end fashion brands to local players, the COVID-19 crisis has shaken everyone in the business.
In a first, the Paris Fashion Week has gone online. The cramped viewing area along the runway is too risky for the who's who of the fashion world. So this season, fashion labels are making films to showcase their collection.
Milan, New York, Paris, London. Global fashion sales are predicted to fall by up to 30% this year, and the luxury end of the market will be hit even harder, with sales slumping by up to 40%. If this sounds bleak, well, it is. The value of luxury brands is expected to drop to a 5-year low, around $335 billion. The last 6 months changed the world forever, destroying many sectors. But businesses, including fashion, can survive, if not recover, by adapting to the new normal. And the fashion industry is no exception.
I think COVID has been challenging for all industries. For the fashion industry, that involves a few times a year a congregation of people who come and see live shows. It's definitely about adapting to a new reality.
You know, I've never seen anything like it. You know, I've been in business for a really long time, through, 9/11 and then 2008, when at both moments, like, we didn't know how to proceed. But this is really, really seismic. It's kind of broken our whole system. We used to be able to rely on store loyalty and a certain amount of business that we knew we were going to have every season. There's no certainty anymore. In fact, we're just all wondering, who is going to be buying, who is going to be wanting new merchandise, and will we ever see orders like we used to? We had spring orders. We really struggled to even complete the spring orders, which most of them were either refused or canceled, or a big discount was asked for.
Celebrated American fashion designer Anna Sui, who has participated in the New York Fashion Week for the past 3 decades, didn't stage a runway show this year. Forced to rethink her entire strategy for 2020, she released a collection inspired from her quarantine period during the New York Fashion Show that was held in September.
I guess I'm one of the most optimistic people ever. And I start thinking about fabrics. I start thinking about themes. I watched a lot of movies and got inspiration to do a collection. So I kind of did it in my head for a while, and then I would sneak into the office and start working on it. And I put together a story, and that's what my spring collection is all those influences that were going on during that period of being at home for so long.
The September edition was curtailed from a normal 7-day-long affair to a 5-day event with new rules of the new normal. No celebrities packing the front rows, no paparazzi chasing models, and almost no spectators. The handful of guests that were present were seated far away from the runway and maintained a safe distance from each other.
I've done a few shows so far, and it's honestly been very strange. So everything obviously is very spaced out. And so backstage, there can be like at least 100 people in one room for the hair and makeup. And now it's like dwindling, like there'll be like less than a dozen.
The New York Fashion Week has the biggest share of the global luxury market, and its traditional runway format was upended by the pandemic. Organizers had to settle for a mix of virtual and physical shows, and the story is not going to be any different for others.
Obviously, it's not the same because you have energy gathering all these people together and a shared experience. It's not the same when you're home looking at it. Of course, you can't touch the fabric, but they do a lot of things with 3D and AI and, you know, all this stuff. It would actually works well.
September is the month when fashion weeks in New York, London, Paris, and Milan happen. This is when all high-end and high-street designers release their lookbooks. The Milan Fashion Week is scheduled to begin on the 22nd of September. But ahead of that, a live fashion show returned to Rome on the 13th of September. Instead of hosting its traditional runway show as part of Milan Fashion Week, the Laura Biagiotti brand presented its new Spring-Summer 2021 collection in one of the city's most iconic squares. After months of lockdown, the Roman brand organized a unique catwalk on the Capitoline Hill, the Piazza del Campidoglio, designed by Renaissance artist Michelangelo and home to the City Hall. This was a way for the family-owned company to show how much they care for Rome, a city that has been ravaged by the coronavirus. This year, the Milan Fashion Week has announced that it will host a Black Lives Matter event. While the fashion industry was quick to join the social media rally and pledge support to the movement, the truth is that it's had a long history of marginalizing black talent. Galvanized by the Black Lives Matter movement, many within the industry are pushing for change. Stella Jean, a Haitian-Italian designer based in Rome, has announced a boycott of Milan Fashion Week. She says she has suffered racism throughout her storied career. Jean, whose outfits have been worn by the likes of Beyoncé and Rihanna, is speaking out about racially charged incidents in Italian fashion.
We made this appeal to the board of the Italian National Fashion Chamber. It includes 15 Italian brands among the most well-known in the world. We asked for a realization of the problem, and we also made some proposals for the resolution of these problems.
It has been announced that 5 Black-led Italian brands will make a digital presentation during the Milan Fashion Week. Over the last few weeks, fashion houses including Prada, Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana and Marni have all had to apologize for racially charged gaffes over recent seasons. Is this mere lip service or a display of real commitment? We'll let you decide. From Italy to the United Kingdom. The London Fashion Week kicked off on September the 17th with a live-streamed show. Even here, the organizers said the focus will be on diversity and building an inclusive community.
This year has been so incredibly tumultuous. There's been so many things going on, whether it's the protests in Hong Kong, whether it's been monuments being torn down, whether it's the pandemic, it's an election year in America. It's like it feels like the plates of the earth are kind of shifting and nobody really knows where it's going to end. And I feel like it's about connecting with the world around you.
Black talent was celebrated in the recently concluded New York Fashion Show too. Harlem's Fashion Row, a platform for multicultural designers, made a vibrant presentation called Black is the New Black. It honored 4 of Black fashion's most impactful contributors and featured must-have collections from 3 Black designers. The BLM movement also saw face masks, a necessity in public spaces amid the coronavirus, being used as a tool to demand social change. Emblazoned with slogans like Black Lives Matter and George Floyd's immortalized words, "I can't breathe," these masks became a symbol of the protests. Now let's look at statement-making masks of a different kind. Luxury fashion brand Louis Vuitton is coming up with face shields that cost $961 each. The image was widely shared on social media and faced criticism from many who pointed out that face shields are not as effective as face masks. Others criticized the French label for capitalizing on the pandemic. Be it Off-White's Arrow face mask that's retailing for a price of $100, or British fashion brand Burberry's $90 face mask with its signature check pattern, all brands are tapping into a new market for non-medical face masks. So much so that an Israeli jewelry company is creating what it says will be the world's most expensive coronavirus mask. Decorated with 3,600 diamonds, the 18-karat white gold mask will cost $1.5 million. It took a team of 25 artisans to create it. With a weight of 270 grams, nearly 100 times that of a typical surgical mask, it is not likely to be a practical accessory to wear. But then, that's not the purpose for which it is being created.
I am happy that this mask gave us enough work for our employees to be able to provide their jobs in very challenging times like these times right now. The amount of diamonds and the weight of gold and the fact that nobody around the world did something more expensive than this mask, it is the most expensive mask in the world. If there will be another company that will create such a mask and will challenge us, I'm sure that we're going to find another customer to buy a more expensive mask.
If you think that you cannot afford to buy expensive designer masks, but still want to step out wearing fancy ones, then you can try making a few yourself. During the quarantine period, the internet was flooded with the home tutorials on how to make these face coverings. All you need is the right fabric, a sewing machine, and a little bit of patience. One caught our eye. Pretty, isn't it?
Then I took my elastic, cut two 5 inches long elastic, and placed one end of the elastic on each. So my mask has 2 layers of fabric pieces. So I did the upper and the lining the same. So we needed 2 pieces to create this. And then I give it a good press so that way I can lay everything down neatly. Flip it like this. And then all I'm going to do is top stitch the edge very close to the edge of the mask. This is completely concealed, and as you can see, it covers from the top of the nose all the way down to the chin and extends all the way close to the ear, which is a comfortable fit, and over here allows your mouth to be breathable.
Face masks were not the only items flying off the shelf during this pandemic. The cosmetic industry recorded a growth in eye makeup and skincare sales. In contrast, sales of lipstick are on the decline. If masks are transforming the way people use makeup, coronavirus has changed how we dress up. Earlier this year, the coronavirus pandemic managed to put almost half of the world's population in lockdown. But people in isolation found creative ways to lift their spirits, and dressing up and looking chic while working from home became the in thing. Hashtags like WFH, WFH wardrobe, or simply work from home started trending. Terms like conference call dressing or dressing from the top up have become part of our everyday life. A few days ago, Gretchen Goldman posted something on Twitter which attracted hundreds of likes. A scientist and PhD environmental engineer, Goldman appeared for a TV interview to talk about the future of America's federal climate change leadership. She appeared to be sitting in her drawing room, dressed in a mustard suit set. But a few hours later, she shared 2 photos on Twitter. While one shows how she appeared on TV, the other captures the chaos of working from home. Just so I'm being honest, hashtag #SciMomJourneys, she wrote. And clearly millions of other parents are in the same boat. Desperate to sell their collections during lockdown, retailers started turning to social media to display their latest stay-at-home styles. Jeans were replaced by track pants, and night suits took over business suits. People started looking for more easy breezy clothes while working from home. And brands started promoting their loungewear and activewear to attract customers. Perhaps for the first time in history, denim started losing popularity. Since the end of the Second World War, jeans have been a symbol of rebellion and fashion. It has emerged as the go-to fabric for both men and women. But the coronavirus pandemic changed this, with people opting for more comfort-oriented clothes. In the United States, companies such as True Religion and G-Star Raw have filed for bankruptcy since April. Levi's has posted a 62% drop in its revenue and has announced that it will slash about 15% of its workforce. In 2019, Americans spent a whopping $17 billion on a pair of jeans. But this year, the sales went down by almost 40%. The question is, will the blue jeans reign again once the pandemic is over? Or has the coronavirus ushered in an era of the elastic waistband? Only time will tell. So what should fashion houses do next? A number of companies have been contributing to the fight against COVID-19. One such example is the German company Armed Angels, that is creating fashionable masks made from 100% organic cotton. It is donating over $2 per sale to medical personnel who are fighting the outbreak. Others are offering help in the form of financial donations and personal protective equipment to affected countries. Apart from CSR initiatives like these, the industry must look after its own. By this, we mean the factory workers and artisans who have lost their livelihoods due to the plummeting demand. Did you know that the fashion industry contributes massively to pollution? It emits more carbon than international flights and maritime shipping combined. The pandemic should give the industry a push to get truly creative, think outside the box, and find sustainable solutions. The culture of fast fashion, where consumers buy inexpensive garments and barely wear them before throwing it out, must end. Instead, retailers should focus on the concept of buy less, buy better.
There's an opportunity to really rethink the industry as a whole, the frequency and purpose and approach to fashion weeks, the way businesses are building themselves, the way designers would like to build their own businesses. So as with other industries, the fashion industry has really had a reckoning with a shock like COVID. And whilst it's been really difficult for designers, for the industry as a whole, it's also an opportunity for the industry to rethink on what foundations it wants to rebuild itself.